Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's Paula Darch from the Heart Centre Academy of Healing here, and I have guests tonight that I am so excited to bring on, and they have got some amazing gifts to share with everybody here tonight, and things that are really warming my heart because at the Academy, I pride the Academy on a beautiful community space and building community. And Brad and Caroline have just come over from Queensland, I believe, to South Australia. And when I met Brad the other day, the instant that I met Brad, I just felt so warming and connected to him. And I knew that his passion was very aligned with mine. And today I get to also meet his beautiful wife, Caroline. So thank you so much, Brad and Caroline, for joining us tonight. And I absolutely thoroughly look forward to listening to everything that you are bringing to South Australia and also bringing to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing as a workshop on the 22nd of March, which I'll get you guys to explain a little bit later. So just welcoming Francine, Natasha, and Melanie. So I'd just like to say hi to everybody that comes on. Let me know where you're from. I am streaming from 3 different places tonight. So I am on YouTube, I'm on the Heart Centre Academy page and Paula Darch page. So please come in. I am streaming from StreamYard. So say hello, let me know that you're here tonight, and let's welcome Brad and Caroline not only to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing Space, but also to South Australia as well. So, as I was saying, one of the things that I really pride the Heart Centre Academy of Healing on, and that is to build a beautiful community. Build a community of practitioners, build a community of beautiful souls that are really, requiring a safe space to come to heal, to transform, to release, to let go of those traumas and those burdens. One of the things that I found absolutely fascinating was when Brad and I got to meet the other day. Brad came into the Heart Centre Academy to have a look at the space to see if it was okay for their beautiful workshop, the medicine wheel. And one of the things we landed up sitting down and having this beautiful chat, and he said about the ancestors. Now, the ancestors and the healing of the ancestors is something that is really, really strong in 2024. It has been here for a long time. It's been building. But for 2024, for me, the ancestors are really like saying, hey, we're here. Please, please. They're putting their hand up. They're coming to the forefront and they're saying, hey, we're here to support you. We're here to give you wisdom. We're here to give you knowledge. And when I sat with Brad and he started to talk about the ancestors, I'm like, oh, yes. I was like even more excited because I'm like, this is in alignment of where the Academy's going. Love it, love it, love it. So, without further ado, Brad and Caroline from Wild Plains Medicine, welcome to South Australia and welcome to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing Space. So, please welcome. Let us know, what is Wild Plains Medicine?
Do you want to answer that? Okay, so Wild Plains Medicine is it's a shamanic practice, I suppose, if you want to look at it like that. And we our base or our tradition is naturistic shamanic tradition, so that's our foundation. And we do a lot of different things. We do ancestral work, ancestral healing. We do medicine circles. We do totem work. We do spirit animal work. We do seed essence work. We have a wintering each year, which is really great. And we basically, the idea of community is extremely, as you said, is extremely important to us within as a part of Wild Plains Medicine, because for us, especially for all of the things we do, but with the medicine circle, we see that each medicine circle is its own community. So in that space, people come together, and in that we say 2.5 hours, but it's always longer. We're just warning everybody that it's in that space of 2.5, 3 hours, a little community is developed, and within that community, everybody is helping each other. And they may know it or they may not know it. And that's what we really love about the work that we do. It doesn't matter who the people are, where they've come from, their backgrounds, or what they're involved in. When we all come together, we form a community in that little space. And then, of course, that becomes a bigger community and, moves out into the wider community. And that community that we create in the medicine circle, for example, is not just those few people that are there, but it's their family, their ancestors, their workmates. So that it brings in the whole gamut of their life into that space. And that little community is actually a much larger community, which we work with. So that's my version. Do you want to talk about your version? It's probably a bit different. He's the shaman, I'm the channel. It's probably different.
Yes. In 12 generations, you have 4,096 ancestors. And you have maybe the same amount of descendants, right? So this is your community. So in my training, I very much became aware very quickly of the role of the ancestors in our community and actually how that affects our direct community. So if you have traumatized ancestors, there may be lots of troubles for you happening in your direct community right around you, disturbing you or disturbing them as a way maybe out of love to protect you, or if they had poor boundaries, maybe for their own needs, their own triggers, they're sort of reacting to that. So yeah, the community is big, and there's also all the spirit energies that are around us, right? So I would add to what Caroline says with the medicine circle experience, that not only is your family there and your ancestors there, but it's also your spirit guides and also all the connections in the Akashic field from all your lives and all their connections, however faint they might be, they get touched, right? So that's very much part of how I see community.
Yeah, I love that. And, it just goes to show how our ancestors are so important in our generation, but how much we have forgotten about them and how much we have disconnected from our ancestors. And I feel like this is the big reason why our ancestors are saying, hey, we are here. What do you think about that?
Look, what came up when you were saying that was, if you think back through the COVID years, we talk with our Caroline channels, a female line of my ancestry, and they teach us all of our work. We call them the mothers. They're known as the ancestral medicine women on the web. They said possibly the finest act of ancestral reverence would be not to have something be put into your body that could affect your DNA, because a lot of effort went to preserve that DNA and keep that DNA going. They said we see that as possibly one of the highest acts of reverence. So I think for everyone, Paula, it's a personal experience.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, definitely. And, and as you said, like the COVID years really did present so many aspects of family, community. We saw community being, built that hadn't been built before. And I really feel that, through COVID, I know that, yes, there was a lot to do with the government, but I do feel that it was, for me personally, what my awareness was that COVID was the awakening. And it was really about asking people and showing people what was important to them. So, for me, it was waking people up. It was getting them to see what they actually needed to see. And, some people, I call people asleep or awake. And some people are still very much asleep. But I felt like a lot of people woke up. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I think during COVID as well. Sorry to interrupt you. I think during COVID as well, it really, in many ways, it was a blessing for many of us. I think because it made us stop, and it made us actually get off the treadmill. And as you say, think about what is important to us, or what we would really like to do. Because now we have got this forced time. So I think that for many people, it was very difficult. So it brought a lot of trauma up. But in that space as well, I think that it awakened people to the fact that they have this trauma, and what am I going to do about it? And where can I go and find things to help with that?
Yes.
So I think you're right. I think it was definitely, but I think it was a real stopping. Like we had to stop. And especially in the West, I suppose we're all on a treadmill. We have to keep working and we have to keep going and we can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And we were forced to stop, and it was very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But I think that, as we're coming through the years, I think we're seeing some benefits, not for everybody, but for some people, there are benefits within that stopping and having to really be with yourself, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Caroline. Beautiful. So tell us about what you're bringing to the Heart Center Academy of Healing.
We're bringing us, Paula.
I love that. And I can't wait to meet both of you. I'm very much looking forward to bringing it, and one of the things that I love, and that is the authenticity. I love what you just said. I'm bringing us. I love that. It just brings me so much joy, Caroline. It's like, yes, you're bringing you.
Yeah. But so are you talking about just particularly for the workshop or in general?
In general. Yep.
In general.
We'll do in general, and then we'll do the workshop.
Okay. You can talk
in general. What we're about is helping people come to the fullness of themselves. And most people are really, when they're pushed, they're scared of the enormity of who they are. They're scared to, if you really talk to some people, they'll say the world is not ready for how big I am, right? That's one of their biggest fears. So the journey of a person, any person, coming to the fullness of themselves is going through that healing journey of coming to terms with everything that's inside and learning how to balance that and walk it out. And it's only safe to walk out in a community like initially at your place, right? So people can relax and they can explore these feelings, these emotions, these gifts that are inside. And there's community get-togethers, all different types of get-togethers where they come and explore them in different themes, different modalities, and learn how to balance that. Yes. So if we go back to the ancestral healing world, a lot of the ancestral healing that I have come across is ancestors that have the same gifts as us. And, they were really compelled to come to this life and come to their community and bring that to the world and sort of to revolutionize the community in the spirit world before conception. They said, yeah, it's time, we'll back you. Come and do this life, we'll back you, we've got you. And then they get there and the community's quiet. Yeah, and so
yep.
And they absorb the anger or the dysfunction of the community because they're the only one big enough in the community to do that. And then it just goes awry, right? And it all gets tied in knots. The trauma gets laid down in the family line, and maybe 30, 40 generations later, we're still haven't come to terms with those energies. So generally, what do we want to bring to your group, to any group, is just to quietly be a part of that group and offer another way for people to see themselves clearly, good and bad, we don't care, and develop that. And if they can sort of go quietly to the world and learn how to experiment with who they are fully, and knowing that it's always a private, quiet work, and if they do it consciously, that affects their community and enables others to do it, even without coming to a centre or doing any work. You know, they see, well, Paul has changed. Maybe I can do that. So it's that possibility of what happens in a community and how that affects in the community, all the different communities that are connected to it in different ways. So.
And I think that the ancestral medicine women have been a huge part of our life for about 13 years now, and there's thousands of them, and they're they've sort of instructed us and guided us and taught us, and they're very keen for human beings to come into their own sovereignty and to really take their gifts, whatever that might be, or take their, their, some people call it power, whatever it is, and then really live it. But they're very keen for people to know what it is first, because lots of people say, I want to take my power, but if you don't know what your power is, it's very difficult to take your power. So there's a whole process involved in actually identifying, owning it, understanding it, and then working out how I'm going to take this to the world. And so that's another. So everything that Brad said, that's a big part of what we do. Is that's why we don't really. You can come to us with anything. Like, we don't care what it is. If that's it for you, if that's your background, it's fine. We just want to help or to assist, and we're very clear, we don't do the work. We do the work with you, or we facilitate the work for you. So it's very much your journey, and we're assisting or facilitating that journey. So so with the medicine circle, that is obviously which is what we're doing on the 22nd. Yes, 22nd.
Yep.
So the medicine circle is very much that sort of individual journey of something that you might want to achieve, something that you might want to know, and we work together to really refine what that thing is, and then journey on that, and then come out of that journey, and we talk about the journey. We try to come to some sort of understanding of the symbolism or what happened in the journey, and then work out, how am I going to take that out to the world? Because a lot of time, people have experiences of healing, or they have experiences, epiphanies or what have you, but how do you actually take that to the world and make it something? Or as they say in Star Trek, make it so. Then, that's quite a difficult thing to do. So that's one of the things that we try very hard to work with people to, go out, because we have to live in the world. That's it. Doesn't matter what kind of person we are. We have to live in the world. So how are we going to do that?
Yeah. That all sounds absolutely magical. I did my human design like a very, very long time ago, and I didn't understand it because it was this booklet about this big, and I was like, I don't understand what that means. And so today I finally had beautiful Sammy. She actually did a full analysis for me. We did a session together, and for the first time in such a long time, I was like, oh my goodness, I get why I'm here. I was telling Brad that I just discovered at the end of last year that numerology has a number, but we actually have a life path color number. And that color really is our life path. And the reading behind that is really powerful. But then when I did my human design and had the full assessment today, it completely lined up with my numerological number, my color, my life color path. And I'm like, this all just makes sense now. And to have, you know, you guys come and do what you're doing and facilitating it, I feel like that will just wrap everything up. And I'll just be able to go, yes, like now I can just go, because sometimes we can gather all of this information, we can gather that power, but then we can just sit in it and go, but where's next? What's next? What do we do? How do we get there? And from what I'm hearing you say is that is exactly what you guys actually do in that medicine wheel. You wrap it up in a nutshell, and then you help people to see and to actually feel it within their bodies as well, because that's, what I'm feeling this is about. I'm feeling that it's not just about that connection through the mind, but it's very much the connection through the body, the soul, the ancestors, connecting it all through, deep into Mother Earth, universe. And what I'm seeing at the moment is like, it's like this whirlwind. It's like it's wrapping it up. It's wrapping it up. All that information is just wrapping it up and just helping people to define it and be able to move into it. So I hope that made sense.
And we're very. It's interesting that you said. It's interesting that you said ground in Mother Earth, because for us, because our tradition is naturistic shamanic tradition, we have the natural world, but also the nature of you and the nature of humanity and the nature of things is something that's it's an incredibly important foundation for our work. And very often when we're doing journeys, Brad will call nature in and say, come and join us, and it's amazing the difference. And you can actually feel, the birds and the trees and the leaves, you can feel that energy, and it's sort of all moving around, and it's so benevolent, right? So it's not interested in swaying anything, or it just is being a part of it or experiencing it.
No agenda.
Yeah, there's no agenda, and it's but the strength that brings into the journey space, and the energy that it gives to people.
Yeah.
So it's really incredibly powerful.
It all sounds. I just can't wait. It's like, bring on the 22nd, I say. I'm not trying to skip time, but I'm just like saying, come on. I'm really
no, we don't want to do that.
No, not at all. So tell us about the 22nd. Tell us about what the workshop is that you're actually bringing on the 22nd of March. I think it's at 7:30 p.m. Am I right?
6:30.
Okay, cool. 6:30.
6:30. Yeah.
Yes.
It goes for. We advertise 2.5 hours, but it'll always go for as much time as it can take that circle.
Yep.
So basically, it's teaching people how to journey, shamanic journey. So in the naturistic shamanic tradition, core of the work is this connecting and then communing. So if you like, the connecting is, we're connecting here now, we're learning about each other, we're having a laugh, and but the communing goes when we're more in the spirit realm, and you can really relax, like what you're fostering at the academy. You can relax and you open, and then there's this transfer both ways. Right. So we try and always endeavour to enable that communing to happen in the journey space. So the circle is very much about connecting. We get to know each other well. We talk about why we're there, what's impossible to heal that we brought to the circle, And then when we've got that tuned up to what we're going to journey with concisely, then where the drum comes on and the chanting and the singing and noises and animals and whatever wants to come comes.
Yay.
Very ancestors appear.
Yeah.
You know, a bad journey, you'll see me throw up in the corner, like it has its own energy. You know, if we're stuck, I'll bring in nature, and the real sensitives in the group will pick the moment where it comes and how that changes them, and when it's asked to leave, they'll leave and find that. And then we come back and discuss the journeys, and we every person has their own symbology, right? And we help sort of work around navigating through that, so the person learns about the symbology that comes out, and then what that means. It might take them a fortnight for the journey to really unpack, but they have enough symbology to understand, oh, this is what's going on, and this is how my body journeys. I'm looking for the video, and this one here, video, and it's 3D Max Dolby enhanced, and I just get this blackness, but I wasn't knowing I could feel it or hear it or smell it or sense it like a snake. So we turn on all those other aspects that happen so people can understand themselves and not judge that. Work out how they're going to take that to the world. So.
And I channel Mother Shadia, who is Brad's shamanic teacher, and she always joins us at the circles, and she's beautiful, but she can be pretty fiery when she wants to be, when she needs to be. But she's very loving, but she's very honest. Like there's no hiding. She won't let you hide. So, but she's very, she's an integral part, really, of the circle. So,
yeah, that's awesome. So, we've got a screen to share for everybody. So I'm going to just put that up now, so then you can explain what that is.
That is, yeah. So the naturalistic shamanic tradition. So you'll see right in the center is the communing. So, for us, really communing, this connecting on your left, and this communing is actually what shamanism is all about. So other traditions, very much about, having the altar and having your bundle, or, strong rituals and ceremonies that bring about the right experience and the right invocation. Whereas this work is about sort of, rather than using ritual and ceremony to create that connection and communion experience, we want other people to find out what their natural way is. So if Paula's way to do that is with tarot, or with hugging, or with holding a women's circle, and that's her way, and that's her shamanic way, we don't ever want to limit someone's natural shamanic tendency to do this connecting and communing. So if you look at all the traditions around the world, they all journey. Some use plant vehicles like ayahuasca and peyote. We use drum, singing, and chanting. Others use different types of hallucinogenics. They're all we see them as just vehicles. So the drum, even smudging as a ritual, we just see it as a part of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you're like, connecting and communing for us is the engine of shamanic work. So in the old days, when you were walking the prairies, and everything in a nomadic tribe was about survival of the group, the shaman would occasionally have to do daycare with the kids. So we'd be taking the kids out into the forest and prairies and looking for who's got the talent, who's doing this, who's doing that, and trying to work out where the children naturally will fit and be the most benefit to the community. Don't we wish that was happening for us?
I know, wouldn't it be so
It's not how it works. It's it's really missing. So in your own communities, if you can foster that with your own modalities, that would be a great result to take away from tonight. So the shaman's always looking for the next shaman, because it takes decades to train a shaman. It takes decades. So they ask the children, can you all pick a flower? So they all pick a flower. Now look at the flower, connect with the flower. Now ask the flower this question, or tell us what you know about the flower. And so that the shamanic child would fall into the flower. They would be completely open. The flower would be completely open. That's the community. And the child will tell you what the flower can be used for, when it can be used, different, all this knowledge comes out. So I'm trying to illustrate that's what, this connecting community is, what shamanism is about.
Yeah.
So the other aspects that were in that graphic that you shared, can you put it back up again, Paul? Is that possible, please?
Yep.
So Mother Sharia, who Caroline mentioned, my ancestor who teaches us, she worked with our whole group they've stayed together since the beginning of time. After over a decade of work together, this is what we've come up with as a living, breathing shamanic tradition. Now, what I want to stress, and this will confuse, everyone has their own shamanic tradition inside, how they want to live closer to the earth, how they want to live connected better to what's important around them. So we're not saying to anyone, this is a way, this is the way. We ask people to develop their own way of connecting and communing and developing their own tradition, things that they find work for them. For many, that will be ceremony and ritual. We have decided not to go that way. So you'll see, looking around the circle, there's this connecting community we've discussed, but then there's this adapting and resilience. So in COVID, we all discovered you have, this adapting and resilience. If you didn't adapt, things got very quiet for many people, right? So, and the whole thing is this moving around to thriving, kindness, connection, and it just goes round and round and round to arrive at a human possibly that is full and thriving and an example to the whole community. That's rush, but try to wrap that up in a bow. Why is this important for the Academy? Why is this important for Adelaide, Australia? It's helping people really find out who they are inside, not judging that, and giving them the space, like what every decent healer does, give them the space for that to develop, and to bolster where it's needed to be bolstered, and to be clear and to be very firm when it needs to be firm, to move through that journey to a thriving.
Yeah.
And for us, all of those things, all of those aspects of the tradition, for us work. We look at the body. Mother Sharia says the body is the four bodies. So the mind, emotions, physical, and spiritual. So those all of those things all those aspects, it's a holistic experience. So you can't thrive just in the body. You have to thrive in everything to really thrive. So that's something that we work towards as well in the circles, but also in all of the work. It's the whole body has to come, and you can't just develop one and not the other. It really needs to, and you might develop one more than the other, but there still has to be development. I've got to come over this way. I'm taking it away from the screen. There we go.
There we go.
And so that the whole being can move. And when the whole being can move, then if you think about, it's like that, what's that thing? The critical mass. So if you've got a group of people and one or two people are doing it, then a couple of people do it, and then the whole group all of a sudden moves. It's exactly the same thing. If you can get all of your bodies, the four bodies, to really get to a point of we're all going, then it actually drags or brings along others with you who may not be able to do it themselves, but are a part of your energetic space.
Yeah.
So it's a really, it's a very shamanic work. I think is really, well, for us anyway, it's a really exciting experience because the possibilities are just endless.
Yeah.
And bringing it all together, it's quite a lot of work in many cases, but once you do it, it's the meaningfulness in that is just enormous. And it's the meaningfulness is so meaningful. Shall I say it that way?
Yeah.
Paul, add here that how do I say this? Get my words together. A chiropractor in Cairns asked me, would I train him? Would I apprentice? Could he apprentice underneath me to be a shaman? And I said no. I said, to train a shaman, as I said, takes decades. What we're interested in mainly is people learning what their medicine is, honouring that, and not being clouded or restricted or limited by modalities. So a modality might get you started. But when you're in your medicine, when you walk in the room, nothing gets in the road of your medicine.
I love that.
So that we want people to come into their medicine so well. When they walk in the room, they are the medicine, not any modality. They're not limited by modality. It's embodied medicine. That's really where we want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Well said. That's it.
Yeah. And
that's it. Now said it now.
I absolutely love everything that both of you have just shared, and thank you so much for bringing you to South Australia and bringing you to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing to bring your magic, bring your medicine, because one of the things, I have lived in South Australia all my life, and one of the things that I have found, and that is that people hop before they they do something, and then they do something else, and then they do something else, and then they do something else, but they're not actually becoming the master of that one thing, because they're always then searching for the next and the next and the next. And so I absolutely love what you just said, Brad, and that is, you become the medicine, you become that energy, you embody.
You are the medicine.
You are the medicine.
Yeah.
And we have become such in a world of escapism in technology. And I have, I've got grandchildren, I've got my own children, and I see, and it really saddens me, because when I'm driving somewhere, I'm watching everyone walking with their phone. And or they're at the bus stop and they're on their phone. They're out for a walk and they're on their phone. And I've got to the stage where I actually feel like winding down my window and going, look for the birds, or look out there. I want to, I want people to stop. I want people to just come to themselves and find the innerness within themselves, rather than the escapism of a device. And that's the thing that I love about nature. And, going back a few years ago, I remember I used to walk a lot to Marialta. Have you guys been to Marialta yet?
No.
Okay, so we'll have to do some outings for you, and I'll have to take you to Marialta Waterfalls, and I'll have to take you to my very favourite forest, which is Rocky Paddocks Forest, and we'll go and take our drums out there, and we'll sing and we'll chant, because that's what I love to do out there. So I'd love to take you out there.
Great.
You go, like, as this whole thing, I'm just like going, I need to take him to the forest. I need to take him to Rocky Paddocks. I need to go drum in the forest. Sorry, I get very, very excited about drumming in the forest.
Fantastic.
And I've been wanting to do this for such a long time, and that is to actually gather people and take them to the forest and just sit and be in the forest. Rather than sit and be on media, or sit and be, or watch TV, or what have you. Mother Earth is calling us.
Yeah.
And I remember a few years ago, I was walking Marialta Falls at least 4 times a week, and I was hiking. And it was a really, really, really cold, blistery day, so I was rugged up in, like, you name it, I had it on, because I wasn't going through menopause then, so I felt the cold. And and there was these beautiful birds. And I was about to pick up my phone, and I literally was like, and I got this scream from my guide, don't you dare put it back. Just look, just watch, just be. And, as we're talking here, it's reminding me of how much, sort of I have become like absorbed in technology, because running a business, there is so much technology time that has to be done to build the business, to, market, so on and so forth, that you then sort of think, you forget to get outside. And I was having a kinesiology appointment, and I had Archangel Uriel, and she's like, go outside, get in nature, be in nature. She's like screaming at me, you're not in nature enough, Paula, come on, chop, chop, chop. And so I had the opportunity this week, actually, where I had a client that I had to drop off at hospital. I'm like, where do I go while they're having their appointment? I'm like, oh, Japanese gardens. So, drove to the Japanese garden. I took a photo in the Japanese garden. But I just loved it, because I just sat on the grass. I took my shoes off. I connected to Mother Earth, and just took some nice big deep breaths, and then I just watched, and there was butterflies and birds, and it was just, I was in my element. I was just connected in that moment. And it's reminding all of us, we are not grounded, we are not connected to Mother Earth, and we are not grateful for what she gives us every single day, which is something that I'm, again, very, very passionate about, to bring the awareness of that connection. And the one thing I love about shamanism, and that is the connection to Earth. I love that connection. And when I did my shamanism course about a month ago now, where the actual shamanism course was held was in a forest. And so he actually took us for this beautiful guided walk, and he just said, just feel, just walk. And I didn't realize until that moment how disconnected I had been. And as I was walking, I was like, I could see Aboriginal women going through this this trail. I could feel portals. I could feel like this resistance. And I'm like, this is what it's meant to be like. This is what we're meant to feel. This is the way we're meant to be. And the more that we can be that and embody that and connect to that, the better I feel the world would be, because we are more and more connected. And as I was just sharing with you before, one of my passions and one of my purpose here on earth is to start a spiritual school for children here in Adelaide. But that spiritual school is not education school. It is for it's nature, it's connection. And when you were talking about the shaman taking the children out and seeing flowers and everything, I could see my school and I could see the children. I could see that we were just taking them for like a journey and connecting them through, because one of the things that I is, again, one of the goals of this school is to have not only nature, but for them to grow their own food. So to have fruit trees and to grow vegetables. And that is the way that they'll actually learn, through English and maths and, and everything like that. So no more sitting down, no more boxing our children. It's about actually connecting them to Mother Earth and, again, teaching them life skills, but teaching them the elements of earth, air, fire, water, teaching them what they came here to be, rather than what I feel that society has squished all of us into this definition of this is what we have to be. And my purpose here on earth is to say, screw that. No, we're not going to live like that. Nobody belongs in a box, and let's get out of the so and so thing. Let's get our kids into earth. Let's get them playing.
Find
I remember
our
as a
tribe.
child playing with mud. Like building mud castles and mud cakes, and there was our children have lost that. This generation have lost that connection to earth.
Well, I think, Paula, we should talk, because I've had the idea for shaman kids for a really long time, but I just haven't been able to put it into a workable format, I suppose. So because it's one of the things I agree with you. I think I didn't have the huge vision that you've got. I was just thinking, like maybe an hour here and there.
Yeah.
But that idea where we, I suppose as well, because we meet a lot of people who, from a very young age, they might have been, well, we would call them clairvoyant, or they're clairaudient, or what have you, but they've had nobody around them to support them or train them, or whatever you want, however you want to call it. So it's been crushed, or the family been told, don't tell anybody you do that. So then they've grown up either suppressing that aspect of themselves or suppressing themselves.
Yes.
And then they get to this, and then they're totally lost. So I think that there's also that aspect of our society isn't really accepting of those sorts of possibilities in a child.
Yeah. And
I think that's something that could be nurtured, I suppose, or could be normalized, perhaps, is probably the better word.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I work with children at the academy. I have worked with kids for a very, very, very long time. And that is one of my passions. I have a lot of children that are spiritual, that their parents bring them to me and go, they're seeing this, they're doing this, help them. And I'm like, this is awesome. Let's embody this. Let's teach them. And the new generation of children that are coming through now are absolutely amazing, because they are coming through as a 5-dimensional earth being. There's none of this 3D, 4D, 2D, or anything else. The new earth children are coming in as the new earth 5D dimension. And boy, oh boy, are these kids spiritual. Like, they are absolutely gifted beyond, our wildest dreams. And what they are really here to be and do is to, again, wake up their parents. It was really funny because my granddaughter, when she was about 3 years old, started to say, my brother, my brother. My brother, I'm playing with my brother. And, they took a video and sent it to me. And they're like, she's freaking us out. And I'm like, well, no, she's not freaking you out. She's telling you who she's seeing. Embody that. One of the things I actually started my spiritual journey because my eldest son, at the age of like 6, 7 years old, was going, Mum, there's a man over there with a top hat and he's got this and he's got that. Blah, blah, blah. Mum, there's a little boy. Mum, there's a little girl. There, Mum. And I'm like, whoa, man. And my grandfather was a psychic medium. So, it didn't scare me. It didn't bother me. But the one thing I used to say to him, and the one thing I say to my children that I work with, do you feel safe? How does your body feel?
Yeah.
And it was through going to spiritual development, going to meditation, did I discover who I was, discovering, my abilities and everything. But without him, I would never have actually gone through that journey. And my youngest one, when he was 2 years old, used to scream and point to people, old lady, Mum needs an old lady, because my boys could see physical spirit. I still can't see that. So these kids are incredible. And the more that we can support them and let them know that there is nothing wrong with them. Because, as you were saying, Caroline, it's, children say to their parents, oh, I see this, I see that. Oh, don't be silly. No, you can't. So then they start to think that there's something wrong with them. They start to go, oh, well, maybe there isn't. And it's not until their later years, and this is something that I hear all the time with psychics as older generations, was that we all had the ability, we all saw, but we were all told not to.
Yeah.
Whereas this new generation, they're a whole new amazement.
Yeah.
And it's fueled by this entitlement, so they're going to take it, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I'm looking at one of Francine's comments, and in context to a wider discussion.
Yes.
Here later about sort of being in nature and kids. And Francine, when I'm in trouble, I'm in a journey. Often I get into trouble, and part of the journey for me is to, on behalf of the client or the circle, is to work out how to get through the trouble and resolve it. And the thing I always find that's a part of the equation, if I'm really in trouble, is spirit animal guides, right? But mainly here is the expanse of nature. So when I bring nature into a circle or into a client healing, it's like there's more space, Francine, for things to unpack so they can be processed by the human. So I'm sort of thinking with that child that you're talking about, you can take them out into nature and be under the trees. For some of us, we think better on trees. For others, it's in watercourses or by the ocean. Each of us have to find our own space. but use the intelligence and the capacity of nature to maybe decompress it so it can be processed by the human.
Yeah.
And not made wrong, and things to be found and explored. I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes as simple as just sitting there,
Yep.
And allowing it to happen, and whatever comes up in the conversation, just let it come up. It's like a trusting thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be interesting to
Beautiful.
hear your feedback on that one day.
Yeah. So I just want to put it out to our audience tonight. Do you have any questions for Brad or Caroline about their beautiful gifts that they are bringing to South Australia and also to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing? So this can be a little bit laggy. Do you have a question that you would like to have answered? And if you do, type it in the comments below, and we will answer them for you. If not, then that's okay too. So, Brad and Caroline, how can people find your workshop that you are facilitating at the Academy on the 22nd of March?
Facebook, right? Or at Wild Plains Medicine under events. They can find it on your page at the Heart Academy Facebook. You post it there. Yeah, that's where I'd start. Was there something else to that question?
No, that's just where they can find it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
it's a piece of work about you. So you're bringing you, and you're honoring yourself. And you come into a group and you feel a bit nervous at start, and you think, good, and even in the hour before, you are, shit, I don't want to go, right? All that stuff will come up. And some people even have car accidents to stop themselves coming, right?
Although we have had people turn up not knowing why they got in their car and turn up, so we have had that as well. But there they are. So
thank you, Spirit Team.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you.
Yeah, there are people that drive 5 hours each way to this circle. Common regulars were driving 3 hours each way to come to this circle. And funnily enough, that person came from South Australia.
Yes, that's right. They did too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And that was a person who was an anthropologist and had spent a decade living with the Indigenous.
Oh, wow.
In Arnhem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a place to just come and allow yourself to be, and just trust that you'll be held. You'll walk out. Yeah, you'll walk out sort of with a better handle on who you are and how am I going to take this deeper part of myself to the world that maybe I've always denied, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So we've got Julie here. She's just got a question. She's having a dream. I have a dream about my mum and me fighting, and I feel angry and fear.
So,
any response to that?
Well, actually, that's huge because we've got the mother, the dream, the fighting, angry and fierce. There's quite a lot of, I've got to go over this way. There's quite a lot of things that we could talk about there. But I suppose, and do we have like 1 minute left? We have 1 minute left. Is that right?
Yep, we're good.
Yeah. So in 1 minute, okay, what do you have to say?
Well, it feels ancestral, right? And it's all a bit sort of tangled up. So, Julie, I would sort of try and take your mother out of the equation. If you're a shaman or a healer, you'll go into the emotion and not judge the other stuff around. So you can go either into the anger or the fear and just follow what that develops, right?
And just do one. Don't do angry and fear. Just choose one. And then from an ancestral point of view, move, whether you meditate put on a drum track from the internet and do a journey, whatever you want to do, but just choose one of those things, anger or fear, and going to that from that, as Brad said, it seems ancestral. So, or there's ancestral energy informing it. So yeah, choose one of those things and go into that space and just see and just be very open about what could be in there and see what comes out.
Yeah.
Then you'll have, that's when the work begins. It's what you get out of that. That's when the work begins.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you very much. And for everyone here tonight and everyone that watches the replay, then please comment below if there is, anything here I can Brad and Caroline, sorry, my words are starting to leave me, which is where I know my the energy is just going. Brad and Caroline can answer some questions as well. What I highly recommend is if you are having Julie, you're having these things happen, book into this workshop that Brad and Caroline are facilitating. And, I'm absolutely positive that whatever that is that's going on for you will be unpacked in the journey that Brad and Caroline will be facilitating at the Academy on the 22nd of March at 6:30 p.m. So I will link the event back in through this feed or through one of probably the Heart Centre Academy of Healing, or even if Brad or Caroline, you want to find that link and just drop it into the comments of the Heart Centre Academy of Healing. So then everyone's got the link in this feed tonight. So people don't have to go and try and search for it or find it. So if you would like to put that into the feed tonight, that would be awesome. So I just want to thank both of you so very much.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes,
Can I say
please.
one more thing? All of a sudden, I'm really emotional.
This is where I normally take over, but I don't know what he wants to say, so I can't take over.
So there's never failure in healing, right? So if you're working on an aspect of yourself, and it's maybe for even a decade, it's actually a journey of learning about yourself. There's no failure, right? So Julie, if you go into the anger or the fear or the anxiety, or even separately the fighting and leaving the mother out of it, and you might bounce in and around there for a year and not get a movement, that's loosening up all the threads that are related to that. And if they're ancestral and it's been compacted or suppressed, it could take 5 or 6 years to loosen that up. So to all of the developing medicine people and their clients, takes time, and there's no failure. You're just learning about yourself, and just honor that. Actually, maybe this is a part of who I am, and this is the only way I do that. And you'll probably see that a pattern appearing, that everything for you might be slow, right? And that might be your nature. And that might be the right thing to acknowledge. So there's no failure in a healing journey.
That's absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for adding that, Brad, because I do feel that there is actually a few people here that message was for. I don't feel like, in my awareness, I feel like it was actually for a few different people, because when we are on our healing journey, and as a healer that I have been since 2012, I quite often hear people say, and I think I've even said it myself, why is it not just gone? Why does this emotion keep rising up? Why does this trauma just keep on resurfacing? And one of the things that I say to my clients, and one of the things that I have to remind myself, and that is, there is no failure, but also remembering there are so many layers to our consciousness. There are so many layers that our consciousness will only ever reveal to us what it's ready to reveal and heal at that particular time. So remember that there is no such failure, because there is always there are always layers to emotions. And whilst we can unpack, say if we're feeling angry, then there could be hurt or pain or sorrow or sadness underneath that anger. And so when we are looking at the one emotion, then it's really important to then go, okay, what's under that? And one of the healing sessions that I take my clients through is called a drop down through. And the drop down through is where, if they're feeling really stuck at that emotion, I will actually say, what's under that? What's under that? What's under that? And it never ceases to amaze me how many emotions are under one core emotion, until we actually drop through every single layer, until we find the void. And the void is where there is nothing left.
Mm.
And being able to, as you were saying, Caroline, it's about working on those 4 levels of who we are. We are not just the physical body. There are so many aspects to who we are, what we are, and there are also so many layers to the emotions that our 4 layers hold. So,
And I've just got one thing to say to
yes.
add to all of this, that
Yes.
I for me, this whole thing, it's the adventure of ourselves. So the healing, the learning, the journeying, however we do it, it's this is the gift that we have. All of us have the adventure of ourselves. And so even though sometimes it's traumatic and sometimes it's, distressing, if we can, as you say, move down, what's below, what's actually there, what's informing this, that's part of our adventure. And I think that, as a human being, we're so lucky to be able to have that level of consciousness that we can have this experience.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything that you both said tonight. And yeah, again, thank you so much. Debbie's just sharing something with us. I really feel this, as my mum passed away in 2004, and now being 2024, I'm starting to feel more open about my past, my future, and learning about myself. Yay, that's awesome, Debbie. And isn't it an amazing discovery as we go through these levels and as we go through the layers of grief as well? There are so many layers to what grief holds. And so sometimes it can take a lifetime to, release that grief. It's really good that, in those 20 years, you've been able to start to, feel more open about, the past, the present, and the future, but also learning about the layers of yourself, Debbie. So amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to end. Sorry, did you want to say something, Caroline?
I just want to say thank you very much for welcoming us to South Australia and for having us on this fantastic podcast.
Thank you.
That you've done, and thank you to all of the people that have been listening and participating energetically with us tonight. We've really enjoyed being here, and we really appreciate the opportunity for us to connect with everybody. Dare we say commune? Let's say commune. Let's say it.
Let's commune. I love that word. I love it when Brad says, commune. I'm like, yes, commune. Let's commune. So, what I am going to do, in the theme of the shaman, I'm just going to pull one card. So I've just got a card deck here, shamanic healing cards. So what I'm going to do is just pull a overall card to sum up this beautiful session that we've had here tonight. Sometimes what I do, guys, is pull a card for everybody. I'm not going to do that. I'm drawn to just feel into the cards, the energy of tonight, and I'm just going to ask for the card to come out as a collective tonight. They're bouncing everywhere. Calm down. There it is. And the card for tonight is healing energy. So this is a beautiful collective,
Apt,
and this
very
is
apt.
very, very apt. Healing energy. So it's just reminding everybody that it's so very important in our lives to receive healing, to have healing. And one of the things that I pride myself in as a healer, and that is that I go and have healings with other people. Because yes, I can lay my hands on my body. Yes, I can connect to my body. Yes, I can do all of that. But my body will only ever respond to layers and levels of what I allow it to. So this is just a reminder to each and every one. Maybe it's time to receive. Maybe it's time to book in that healing. Maybe it's time to connect in and ask your body, hey, body, what healer would you like to go see? What course do you want to go and learn? The more that we connect with our body, the more that we ask our body, ask our soul what it is that it requires, the more it will speak to you, the more that you will also respond to it. But to do that, one of the things that is really important is to be grounded. So, Brad, I just want to finish this session off today. How do you ground yourself?
Hard work. Like I find, like, if I'm really troubled, and I work in peak states, so I can be troubled. Sometimes you can take client experience, be processing one client for over a month after the session. And what I saw my grandfather do, digging a garden and working really hard. I'm sort of got a lot of his shamanic background in me. I use that. So I get into the soil and I dig, post holes, whatever, chop wood. That's the thing for me.
Yeah.
But I need that hardness, whereas someone who's softer might be a very light, delicate experience of nature. And so, but for me, it's, I'd say people just ignore what I do. Look to yourself. Don't do anything I do. Look to yourself and where you feel you think best, where you feel the well-being. Like, it could be a water course, it could be the forest, like you, Paula. And that's the place to go.
Yeah.
Because you get, like we were talking with Francine, you get that expansion of nature. And in that expansion, you can then process everything in there much better.
Yeah.
So, and everything you want's already inside you, right?
Yes, absolutely. And this is why one of the things that I like to share, and that is the connection to the body. Speak to the body, connect with the body, know the body, because, we so often refer to everything outside of us, but it's here. So, it's really important to, come back to that and to connect to that as well. So, Caroline, how do you ground?
Well, my totem is a water-related totem, and it's a very specific water-related totem. So for me, and it's interesting, for my whole life, from even for a very young child, I have identified with this particular water aspect, and part of it is stillness. So still water. And so for me, and I've always had this image inside me that there is a well. So I've always been linked to this idea of a body of water. And so for me, I need the well, or I need the inside water to be still.
Yeah.
So I will literally do anything that it takes to make that still. So, so for me, it's removing myself from environments and creating my own environment. And I can do that even in a busy place, I remove myself energetically from that environment and then create my own environment. And within that space, I can rejuvenate and regenerate and just and I go down like that. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I find a lot of children do the same thing, when, especially because I have a little bit to do with children with ASD and ADHD and what have you. And parents say when they get overwhelmed, they need to, they need to be by themselves or what have you. And I think that's actually normal. I think that is something that we all do. It's just that they are more perhaps vocal about it. And so so that whole drawing yourself away from the situation but I have learned to do it in any environment because that's just how I've learned to cope, I suppose.
Yeah. I love that. And, and this is the thing, it's what works for each individual that matters. Like, everyone has their own way. There's no one way. We can share our knowledge and we can share ways that we do it, but it's really about a person going, okay, well, how do you connect? How do you connect to Mother Earth? How do you ground? As I say to all of my clients, though, as long as you're doing something, then that's what's important. Being able to connect your way is what's important, as long as you're doing something. So, yeah.
I think it actually takes a lot of bravery to do it. Anyway, goodbye. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, it's okay. You can still say what you need to say.
No, I just said I think sometimes it takes a lot of courage to actually do that, because if you've had a lot of pushback your whole life, or whether that's community or what have you, it actually takes a lot of courage.
It does.
To say, well, actually, this is the way I do it. And if you want me to be productive, then I need to do this. So, it's a journey, definitely.
It's a journey. Life is one big journey.
It is.
Well, guys, I just want to thank you both so very much. Just stay on the line as I just end the live so we can have a little chat. So, guys, everyone that's watching here tonight, whether it be on any of the platforms, people watching replay, say hello. Let us know that you're here. Let us know that you watched the replay. If you found this information useful, please like and share it. If you would like to join in Caroline and Brad's workshop, what is the workshop called?
Medicine Circle.
Wild Plants Medicine Circle.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. So, guys, Caroline and Brad will add the link to booking in the feed below, and you can then book straight through them to book into the 22nd of March. But I am sure that if you're not able to come to that one, I know that this is the beginning of many things that Brad and Caroline will be bringing to the Heart Centre Academy of Healing, and also to their own practice as well. So I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, if you'd like to reach out, if you'd like to book into any services, either with Brad or Caroline, please reach out to Wild Plains Medicine. If you would like to book in any healings with myself, then please book in through the Heart Centre Academy of Healing by PM messaging me. So, guys, have a wonderful night. Much love. I'll see you all next Wednesday. And bye for now.
Bye. Thank you very much.